Am I the asshole for calling my dad's wife illiterate because I suspect that she is? Mike, 26F, dad, 50M, has been with his partner Ann, 55F, for about 15 years. She had a really sad and rough upbringing, drug addict parents, foster care, didn't graduate HS, and we've never really gotten along. My dad recently had a back injury and told me that he was on paid medical leave for a month. But I learned from my grandma that he actually only took 2 weeks off using his remaining sick days and PTO. He went back to work once that time ran out despite the fact that he was still having severe back pain. I went to visit him right after my grandma told me and confronted him about lying, to which he said he didn't tell us because Ann was handling it, working on his FMLA paperwork. As we were talking, she came out and told me to leave it alone and said something like, "You're not the only one who knows how to do this stuff. I promise I've been filling out forms since before you were born." It's a known suspicion on my dad's side of the family that she's functionally illiterate, but no one ever talks about it when he's around. Her Facebook posts and texts never make sense and read like they're being spelled out by someone who is learning how to sound out letters. For instance, R is always spelled R, great is grat, etc. I've seen that she pretty much exclusively uses the voice typing feature and has Siri read all her texts. When he was a teenager, my brother got in huge trouble with our grandma because one year on Ann's birthday our dad got her a card and my brother asked her to read it out loud, so she understandably called him an asshole. We're not close, so I obviously don't know whether she's actually illiterate. I checked in with them yesterday, 2 weeks after Ann told me to leave it alone, and asked how the FMLA paperwork was going. He said that he's feeling better, so he's just going to keep working. But he was walking fully hunched over last time I saw him. I asked my dad to put Ann on the phone so that she could tell me what was going on. Ann said that this wasn't my business, but if we were really concerned we would just give him money to support them so he can stay home. I honestly blew up after that and said, "It should not take you a month to fill out a few forms. You know you're fucking illiterate, so let me just do the paperwork." They hung up after that and my dad hasn't talked to me since. I feel bad for using her struggles as an insult because I know that it's probably a huge insecurity, but the fact that she's not taking this seriously is blood boiling. I feel like the bluntness was warranted, but I still feel bad. Am I the asshole? Too long did not read. I called my dad's partner illiterate because she won't let me help fill out his FMLA forms following a back injury. Info: why doesn't your dad fill out his own forms? You are the asshole. I don't see why your dad can't fill out his own forms, to be honest, or why the two of you seem to believe it's Ann's responsibility to do this for him. If he'd rather work than sit down and fill out a form, that's his choice to make. If you suspect Ann needs help, you can easily offer help without insulting her. Wait, let me get this straight. Your dad needs FMLA paperwork completed for his job for his injury. Your dad is not functionally illiterate, because otherwise you would have said so, and is able to complete the forms on his own. Likely much easier than Ann if she actually is illiterate, but your dad is not completing his forms because he doesn't want to handle his own adult responsibilities. But somehow, this is Ann's fault? Did I get that right? Are you under the impression that FMLA will let your dad take paid leave if he does not have any paid leave remaining? Because it does not do that. If he needs to go back to work because he needs the money, then that's what he is going to do. FMLA would prevent them from firing him while he was gone. It doesn't make them pay him. If he has already used up his sick days and he needs to go to work for the sake of income, what do you want FMLA to do here? Edit. Yes, this depends on the company and state, but it does not appear to be paying in this situation based on what Op is saying. Your dad can work, but he can't fill out his own forms? Is he illiterate too? Or he could, but he just hasn't bothered. If he's the one in pain, they're his forms. Regarding his job, for his employer, he's the one who should be taking it the most seriously. It's not Ann's fault that he isn't, and she's right that it's none of your business. You are the asshole for insulting her. You are the asshole. That was a pretty nasty insult, and also you're absolving your father while blaming his wife. For not doing the forms he should be doing himself. Do better. Am I the asshole for refusing to sell the expensive clothes my friend gave me? My husband, M30, wants me to sell designer clothes my well-off friend gave me. The clothes total in $3K with 2 of the articles of clothing costing $1K and $1.5K. The price tags were left on the articles of clothing. It's an extremely fancy brand I've only ever seen on TV, Armani. I could never afford these articles of clothing and I was really excited to style it. I got special bags for them to stay in. Could never purchase these. My husband thinks I should sell them and that they'd help us afford a new couch. The idea of a few pieces of fabric being worth a couch is insane to me, and I get why he wants to sell it, but I don't want to. He's upset and saying I'm putting this fabric before our family's comfort. I think I'd offend my friend if I returned them, and I also don't want to. Am I the asshole for refusing to return expensive clothes? Update to add. Before I posted this I already started to look for a second-hand couch. I found some from Ashley's for $100 each and they are in great condition. He wanted someone new but he's happy with it. I found a bunch of stuff around the house he can pawn that he doesn't use, Oculus, SP, Switch, and old games. I put them on Marketplace. I told him I wouldn't be selling the dresses, but he could sell the PS5 he never plays. We are good now. Thank you all for the reassurance. I was feeling guilty for a moment but y'all helped me flip the script and I think we got a good understanding now. Answering questions. We aren't poor, our bills are paid. But we aren't rich. I'm a frugal minimalist and I wanted our extra money to be saved for gifts for our kid this Christmas. We can't afford a brand new couch he wanted. In his defense, I'm frugal and I think he just wants something new in his. I told him we could sell the things I listed above and whatever else he wanted but not the dresses. They belong to you. Obviously your friend wanted you to have them because she holds you in esteem. Your friend would be very offended to find out that you sold them. You should treasure those and wear them to your delight. Not the asshole. The clothes are a gift you were given. They were not gifted to him. How would he feel if you told him to sell one of his possessions to finance the couch? He doesn't get to decide what you do with your things. When I was a kid my mom's good friend, who was quite well off, had a daughter a little older than me who would outgrow her fancy duds and passed them on to me. It was so fabulous wearing these expensive things that made me feel extra super in. We weren't poor, but not in the position to spend like crazy. I still remember several items I especially liked and I'm 75 now. Don't let your husband ruin the joy of wearing something especially lovely can give you. You can't sell them for enough to make it worth more than the pleasure they bring you. Not the asshole. They were a gift. To you. Not your husband, not your family, a gift for you. I'm on team you. It was a gift from your friend not his friend. Your husband is not happy for you? No bueno. And if you sell the clothes it will be the last gift your friend gives you. Go ahead and cut the tags now just to be safe. Am I the asshole for not letting a girl take my sweater the first time we hung out? 22M, had a girl come over last night after she was at the bar with her friends. We had only connected through Instagram the day before and I really couldn't tell what her name was from her username. We had a fun night talking about life and catching up on the horror movies from this year. At some point she said was cold and asked for a sweater. I gladly gave her my favorite one, I have 3 total. And then we went to sleep. When we woke up she asked me to pay for her Uber, to which I said I could not, need to eat this week loudly crying. She said okay and ordered her own. As she was leaving she said, I'm taking your sweater, you may or may not get it back. To which I responded, I wish I could let you take it but I only have a few sweaters and that's my favorite one. This was because I had just met her and did not even know her name and there was a high probability we would never talk to each other again. We then awkwardly half-argued back and forth for a few minutes until she finally took it off. She said, bye, and walked out of my room and out of my apartment without looking at me again. Am I the asshole for not letting her take my sweater? Not the asshole, but she wasn't trying to steal your sweater. She was trying to ensure the next catch up. She gets asshole points for the awkward half-arguing after you ask for it back. Not for the awkward attempt at getting you to arrange the next date. But I think she was upset that you didn't seem to want to see her again. Not the asshole. My guess is she was trying to do a cute thing where she steals your sweater so you have to follow up with a second date. And so on, until you're married and she can have all your sweaters. But yeah, you don't even know her name, did you ask? And you have to buy food and wear warm clothes. Second date? Lol, when was the first one? He talks to her on Instagram and the next night she's staying over after being out at bars with her friends? Good grief. You don't even know her fiend name? I sure hope you know what a condom is. Not the asshole. She's was testing you, wrongly. Pay for me. Give me something. Nope. Not a vibe. You should never have to go back and forth with anyone over your stuff, let alone strangers. Not the asshole but message her again and say, I got another sweater that might or might not be available for stealing if you want a second date. Gonna be honest here, it is a move to take something to secure a second date, sure. But it's also a move to say you might return something when you have absolutely no intention of doing so but don't want to outright say hey I'm collecting booty call trophies. As an early 20s female I definitely did this and had it happen to many guy friends. I don't buy clothes to roll the dice on loaning them to complete strangers and neither should you. Am I the asshole for asking my wife to wear a hairnet while cooking? So, here's the situation. My wife loves to cook and I truly appreciate her meals, they're delicious. However, her hair keeps getting in the food. It's long and tends to shed a lot, so it's almost a guarantee that I'll find at least one strand in every meal. I've tried to casually mention it a few times, saying stuff like, oh, looks like your hair wanted to join dinner, but it hasn't made much of a difference. Finally, I decided to ask her to wear a hairnet while cooking. I figured it was a practical solution. She got really upset, saying it's embarrassing and that I'm making her feel like she's gross. That wasn't my intention. I just don't love finding hair in my food. She says I'm overreacting and should just deal with it since it's not that big of a deal. I think it's a simple request to improve both of our dining experience. Now I'm second-guessing myself because I don't want to hurt her feelings, but I also don't think I'm being unreasonable. Am I the asshole? I can't read and thought you said, helmet. Nah, I have long hair, like down to my butt. I shed a lot. I don't shed into my food while I cook. Shedding into all of the food is highly unusual. She's either being unhygienic with her hair placement during cooking, or she may have a health condition that is making her shed more or not notice things. It's also completely reasonable that you don't have hair in your food. Alternatively, you can cook, but since she likes to cook, this may be a less desirable alternative. If she has really long hair, maybe suggest a claw clip or pulling her hair back in a ponytail or something while cooking. It's a pretty normal thing for most people with long hair to do while they cook, not just for hygiene purposes but also general comfort. I don't think you're an I just think your approach was off. You found a problem and solved it. Your partner who is on your team and part of the issue didn't even get a say. You should have gone for a more open approach. Something like, I really love your cooking, but lately I feel like I often find a hair in my food and I feel like it really ruins dinner for me. No blame, not telling her what to do, just sharing how you feel. Then you can hit her with do you think we can do something about this? As many people already noted, a hairnet is not the first and most attractive option to try, and I totally get why she got angry when you suggested she wear one. Nah, I think a ponytail would probably suffice. She is right, a hairnet would be crappy. A ponytail, on the other hand, would be both cute and practical. Or a ponytail plus a bandana tied as a headscarf. Not the asshole. Well, not quite. I think it would be more reasonable to ask her to put it up, maybe even brush it out first, just in a pony or bun. It's normal to throw your hair up when cooking for others. I do think a hairnet is a little, well, extra.